Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes, help you understand why your person's doing what they're doing, why you're attracting who you're attracting into your life. What is the whole spiritual significance? If there's many different realities that play out at one time, why would you choose to live a reality that keeps you stuck in a place of limitation? You wouldn't. We all want to be abundant. We all want to be financially stable. We all want to have passion in our lives. We all want the same things. We might not want to create the same things to obtain the end result, but we all want the same things. However, the perception is that we can't have, and that's because of the experiences that we live in. No greater experience than the soulmate that teaches us. Now, there's many different types of soulmate, but every soulmate teaches karmic lessons. So when we're stuck in a karmic loop, it's just I keep reliving the same karmic theme that puts me in a place of limitation, makes me feel inadequate, makes me feel not good enough, makes me detach and disassociate. We might not even know that we are detached and disassociated. What happens is we meet somebody, and then what we know is that that person is, because they're detached, and they're detached from us. And we say, why are they detached from us? Why? How do they feel like home? And then there was that. Why do they do things that are out of alignment with really how they truly feel and what they truly want? It's because there's spiritual blockages. The psychological and the emotional are the spiritual aspects of self. You're only in physical form to learn and to manifest. It's the end result. You're the alchemist of your life. So by changing, you change the entire dynamic of your situation. And a lot of times that's healing. This is going to drive me crazy because I see it's not lined up. It'll drive me crazy. My OCD. There is no such thing as perfect, but we shoot for excellence. That's what spirit always says. It's again, but people that have OCD, we like things to be a certain way and everything in order. And so relationships can tend to be like, oh, you're too much of a headache. It's especially if you're going to give me a hard time, right? It's like, because as people that have gone through trauma, we really have learned how to create our own lives a lot of times. Yeah, we know how to have a love affair with ourselves. That's not the issue. The issue is like, well, can I let someone in after a certain point? See whether we're letting people in too much or not letting people in at all. So we have to find balance. And that's the second chakra. So everywhere where we have a chakra, we have an endocrine gland. Your chakras represent the psychological and the emotional aspects of yourself, which is spiritual. So when you're out of alignment, you can become aware. This is why I'm telling you. It's so that you can heal yourself. You're the alchemist of your life. I'm just a conduit for spirit to work through, right? Again, but if you were doing the reading, hey, spirit would work through you too, unless you're full of blocks. And if you're full of blocks, then you're not going to be able to see out of your third eye. You're not going to be able to give and receive of love. You're going to have, again, sabotaging behaviorisms that are in alignment with those imbalances within the chakras, the psychological and the emotional aspects of self. So our soulmate twin flame, well, they're usually, again, those past life karmic mates that, helping you to heal family karma, believe it or not. It's like those deep-seated inner child wounds. So let's see what the underlying energy is. For those of you that don't know, I'm tired of saying the same shit every day. Okay, so I'm not going to say it. But we do look at the spiritual blocks and the shadows and see how they play out as karmic themes. I said I wasn't going to say it, Spirit. And the Spirit's like, but you have to need to say it. Don't like it's, again, we do focus on those things. So we look at the underlying energy to see why the person's doing what they're doing. Disassociated. I didn't either. Why was all that talk of detachment and disassociation? Spirit says because the word was going to be disassociation. It's like we have to trust, trust the process. That's a root chakra issue, by the way. Again, only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut, intuition, inner knowing. But if we're not grounded, we don't feel connected to spirit, to being able to receive that divine guidance. Claircognizance, clairsentient, we all have those spiritual gifts to be able to, again, navigate our life. It's part of discernment. How can you possibly discern if you're not utilizing your senses? So anyway, disassociation. So you're connected to a person that is an avoidant. They're disassociated from the situation. They're not looking at it, is what you feel, because they're not giving you anything. And so I feel like you've had this energy before. Like you might have been raised by a parent that I feel like you just kind of felt like watched everything, that they never emotionally got involved. So if you were raised by like a strict mother that was like, I'm going to tell you, like your father was like, I'm not going against that person. Or if it was your father that was the way, your mother was like, I'm not going against that way. So that trauma of, hey, listen, like this person is scaring me, is terrifying me, is making me feel a certain way, and you're like watching it happen. That's considered betrayal, but it's betrayal psychologically and emotionally because we don't understand it. And so it creates so much emotion. I feel detachment. And so this is the underlining energy that you feel like, well, I get people that are detached, disassociated. And the spirit says, well, actually, there's parts of you that are detached and disassociated. And you're like, yeah, but my shit doesn't look like that. And no, it doesn't. You'll keep getting abandonment. You keep living that karmic theme. So again, but Spirit's saying you wouldn't be able to do that unless there was some part of you that needed to be integrated. So, this person is a sign of that. But when you say, well, they're not doing anything, well, they're stirring up emotion. And so when you were dealing with this person, I feel like, again, they were childish, but I keep looking at they didn't really want to say one way or the other what this connection was. It's almost like staying stuck, wanting you to stay stuck, and part of you was like, well, I felt like a conquest over time. That's what I felt like, because this person would talk to a lot of different people. They, again, feel like they had a lot of different people, maybe talking to a lot of people in their inbox. Again, so they tried to make you feel like powerless, and you felt like, well, after a while, I felt like I was living in the dark, like their dark side, right? It's again where they're keeping me limited. Right, as again, which will keep you in a place of not enough, not good enough. It's again, so that karmic theme. And that karmic theme is, hey, this doesn't feel right, and you don't seem to care. So that disassociation. And so what would they do? Well, they had very risky energy, and they pretended to be blind to what they were doing. So very frustrating, just trying to keep you stuck. So the next time a person does that, what are you going to do? Detach. A person that's detached and disassociated doesn't want you to detach. Oh no, because emotionally they can't sustain themselves. So they actually need you to do it, but they're not going to give you anything. So it's again, they're going to keep you always feeling like, are we a connection? Do you really have feelings for me? Do you really are we building something? So, and in the beginning, you might have even given to say well, I'm going to show this person because maybe they don't know. But you get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, you don't know, you don't care to know. Well, understand if you fall for the trap of let me show you, well, then they're like, oh, well, then you can do it. And so where then it's I feel like I'm always the person giving in the relationship, that is a one-sided relationship. And where because the person is risky. And, you just feel like they always have hidden hidden motives, like are you lying to me? Like, again, where we see what we look for. So if you've ever had any type of betrayal or disassociation with, like, that's the way unconsciously we look for it. So obviously you want to be reassured. So it's activating that spiritual block within inside of you. So even though you say, well, this person didn't do anything, like, well, they didn't do anything because you didn't allow them, because it was always like hidden thorns, like you needed to look beyond the romance, and that's just the way that you are. It's like you might have went into a relationship with this person, but it was like right away you were asking questions. Right away you were like looking to see, is this person like showing up for me? Like you didn't just go into the relationship saying, well, whatever happens, happens. Let me give all my energy. That's not what happened. This person continued to stay like, childish, not serious. You read between the lines. And that's really what it is, because it's like, well, I'm not going to tell you everything but then it's like, no, because you want a one-sided relationship, because you have fragments, past relationship trauma, whatever it is that you haven't healed. So now you're going to make me pay for it because it comes out. And that's how is it coming out? Well, you're trying to make me feel as if I'm not good enough. Like if I didn't know my worth, this would be dangerous. This would be dangerous. And understand that person, like, again, has a lot of barriers to love. But then we'll look and see, well, how does this person really feel? Is it shady or is it spiritual blockages? And it's not so that you can say, oh, well, let me run back and be this fixer. No, but it's to be able to see things from a different perception is healing. To be like, does the person really have feelings, or are they just really that fragmented that it's like, well, they don't really want anything, but they're going to keep me stuck because they want my energy. They want me to give them everything, but they never make me feel secure. They're always detached. Is that a spiritual issue, or is that, is that shady business? Like, is what we want to know. And really, you are the best thing that ever happened to me. So again, I'm confused about how I feel about you, though. So, and that says something about that's a cognitive dissonance, which is, I love you, but I don't know. Like it's like I'm holding two of the opposite, so I'm not going to do anything. And so I'm confused about how I feel about you. Well, it's again, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. So which is it? Well, it depends on the day. And that's because this person is codependent, they're fragmented. So if you don't act right on certain days, well, I'm confused. Yesterday, you brought over lunch and you called me 10 times and you made me feel good enough. But today, you were wrapped up a little bit too much in yourself. Maybe you talked to someone and I got triggered. So now I don't really know what I want. So it's again, it almost comes across as bipolar energy. And as a person has this, how you know that they have a spiritual block. They're holding, like, I want it, but I don't. Again, the opposite. So nothing happens. It cancels itself out, the universe. And that's what you feel. You're like, well, you're not doing anything. And it's like, yeah, because the person's stuck and stupid. It's like, I'm sad that we just aren't meant for each other. So I feel like this person feels like I have to change too much. And being that I have to change too much, I don't want to do that. So what you see here is shady business, because it's like, I do have feelings for you, but I want everything my way. And you require too much change. And because of that, I don't really want to do that, is what this person's saying. And I hate to say it, but we do have people that do that. It's like, hey, now that you're putting me on the line, that you're asking me to bring my 2 cents into this connection, it's like, I don't know whether I want to invest that now. Where you're like, well, what the fuck? This whole time I've been investing my 2 cents, acting like that's why would I invest my 2 cents all the time? And they'll say, oh, I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to do that. But you didn't tell me not to do it. You didn't tell me not to do it. So it's a one-sided connection on how you get what you want. So understand, Spirit says, oh, you better transmute that negative energy, because you see how pissed off. Yeah, you feel victimized. You feel like betrayed. What do you think? Are you going to use me? You think you're going to use me and that there's not going to be consequences? This is where this anger comes into play. Or we can say, oh, I forgive them. I really forgive them. But it's like, now how do I know that that's not going to happen again? So again, Spirit says, you can't just forgive. Oh, you all want to just forgive. It's like the energy doesn't just go leave because you're like, oh, well, I understand. His Spirit says you're not off that easy. You have to transmute that negative energy, embody a new consciousness, because they made you look and feel a certain way. And I'm telling you that that was on there before you met them. That's why you live this experience, because we're spiritual beings having human experiences. And the universe says, all I give a shit is that you evolve back to your original energy, which is unconditional love. And that spiritual block is there. So I had to bring this person into your life. And when we see they're shady, they're an asshole. It's like we can forgive them, but it's like, I forgive you because that's the thing that I need to do, but fuck off. That's how I'm going to forgive. And Spirit says that fire energy needs to be put somewhere. I'm going to ram it down their throat. Then Spirit says, no, it's again, you know that they are inadequate. You apologize and all this, but you have to channel that energy. You have to embody a new energy. So we look at the inner child wounds to say, well, where was the fragmentation? Why did I have to live this with this person? And so Spirit says, well, abandonment, protection, unworthy, oppressed, guidance, self-love, and source. So again, we always have a relationship with the universe, even when we feel like, oh, the universe didn't do anything. They weren't there for me. Well, we always get the lesson, we get the test first, and then we learn from that test. That's the difference between life and school, So the experience was karmic. So you're born into a karmic family. And I say that when I see unworthy and I see oppression, and I feel abandonment to the point that you didn't feel safe. So I understand what happened is when you're scared shitless, where do you think you go? Well, you go into your head. You go inside of yourself. And the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Remember, that spirit is inside of you. Spirit is chi. It's prana. It's ubiquitous. It's omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscience. There is no separation between it and us, because again, it loves us and it supports us. We are here to be expressions of that love, how we choose to, whatever, if we can imagine it, we can create it by becoming it. Our trauma makes us not be able to create because we become that trauma. And so understand source. Because understand, God says, well, I was protecting you the whole time. That's what that poem Footprints is. Those weren't your footprints. You were going the wrong fucking way. They were my footprints because I knew exactly where you wanted to go. See, the higher self is the God part of self. So it's intuitive. It's sensitive. It's feely. And so, but understand you weren't taught to love yourself. And so that's why you attracted this shady person into your life, because God said, you're worthy. You have to love yourself, though. You have to love yourself to attract that into your love. So you have to become what you love by doing what you love, embodying that energy. And then people will come into your life, but you won't give them too much. Otherwise, people want to utilize your energy for what they want to utilize it for. This person, hey, listen, if you're giving it away for free, I'm there. It's like, I'm not giving it away for free. Who said that I was giving it away for free? It's like, I'm too expensive for you. Give it free. It's like everything that you go for, it's my energy. It's not that I'm going to be shady and say, oh, you need to pay for me, but you don't want to give me time. You don't, when it comes to it, you don't want to bring your 2 cents, and you don't have no problem utilizing my resources, which is my time, my energy. It's like, and then for what? So that you can dispose of me, because you don't want to invest. So that just told me that you don't want to invest. And Spirit says, no, because you got to invest in yourself. Again, self love. God says, me first. I'm a jealous God. That's through you first. Look what you did. You're like, I want this person to, and I'm going to treat them. The universe says, the fuck you are. That's not happening. The universe is jealous. So you have to say, Spirit says, first of all, take time to create a sacred space. Again, the God part of self is the higher self that you tap into every day. And you might say, like, I don't know how to do that. And it's through doing the Silva Ultramind method. It's about conditioning your mind. It's about reconditioning your mind to get to that theta level of healing. That's right before you fall asleep. You're right around, that's when your body is self-healing. So doing like a 20-minute meditation of that is extremely helpful, and it brings you back and it conditions you how to meditate. But you have to take time out. If you're so disconnected and disassociated, which Spirit says clearly, if you were abandoned and I was the one that raised you, Source says, because no one raised you, I was the one that raised you. So which meant like you had to figure it out as a kid. So again, living in survival mode. Spirit says you got to train your nervous system. You have to recondition your nervous system because you're in physical form, and that trauma affects your nervous system. You'll suffer from anxiety, depression, highs and lows, and you need grounding because, hey, it was more comfortable to live in the higher self, not in the present moment. But we're here in physical form. So again, Spirit says take the time out. You have to feel connected to Source. It's like checking in with your mom or dad, because you didn't have one, you had Spirit. And Spirit says, now it's time to take a leap of faith. You can't heal in the same place that you got sick. Understand, take bold steps, even if the path is not visible. Risks are rewarding. Understand, it's all about the grand journey, that this situation, again, how you were brought up, and again, this relationship is all stepping stones to help you, bring you back and revert you into your original energy of unconditional love. Release control. Is again, that's the second chakra in balance. You can't control. We don't control the environment. We can control what we choose to do by having good habits and behaviorisms and loving on ourselves and investing in ourselves and showing up for ourselves and pouring into ourselves. And that's how we do it. But really go into the unknown, Spirit says. And when you go into the unknown, you open your heart to exploration. You get to meet new people and different situations that all are going to change your mind and your heart about how you perceive yourself. Because understand that trauma that you grew up in and that trauma that this person like just showed you, like, I mean, what the hell? I'm not worth anything. Who the fuck are you? Made you mad. Spirit says, go good. I wanted to make you mad. Make it mad. I want you to channel with that energy. It's again, that fire energy. Is again, you turn fear into fire. You create with it. It's alchemy. The Spirit says again, you use your passion to fight for what you believe in. Stand your ground. So it's again, you never are emotionally manipulated again by someone, because you've filled your own cup up. And you're meeting people while you're doing it, and the experiences are fulfilling to you. You're every day, you're saying, I wonder what's going to happen today. Who will I meet today? What will happen? It's again, every day's an adventure. It's like, instead of, fuck, I got to get up to do this fucking job. Ugh. And this person, it's like it's much different energy. If you find yourself in the ugh, then again, you need healing. You need a reset. Remember, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. You shouldn't be imagining that. You're like, well, that's my reality. Understand we're spiritual beings having human experiences. Don't undermine the spiritual realm. It's your connection to your spiritual sovereignty. It's your connection to source. It's your connection to unconditional love. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Like the video, subscribe. It's good karma. And always be true to you. Remember, like the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. Love yourself, nurture yourself. That'll teach people how you want to be treated without you saying, well, you really need to treat me. You have to be the example. Otherwise, people are going to treat you from their level of that they know how. Well, I almost forgot one more card, and that's again one more card from Spirit. And that is, we leave off with elevation. Free yourself from fear and trust the universe. Direct your thoughts to the beauty inside and around me. Use your spiritual strength and knowledge to create light and rise above all doubt. And that's what I was pretty much saying. It's like, don't undermine the spiritual element of who you are. You have power. You have magic. Again, because you have source inside of you, and that source is ubiquitous. It's all knowing. It's all power. And it's all knowing because it sees things from every perception. And you too can live the best life that you want to live, because there's many different realities that play it at one time. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.